Hey everybody, what's going on? Today I thought I would take you guys along with me on a quick sewing project that I'm doing on my wife's car. The armrest has developed kind of a tear and some of the foam is coming out. So what we thought we could try and do is maybe make a real quick cover just to keep it from getting a little worse. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's not going to be anything that is super form-fitting. Basically, it's just to kind of cover it up. Using an old bed sheet that we were going to get rid of. I don't know if I rotate this, I can kind of see it, but I don't know if the camera will pick it up. It does have sort of a flower pattern on one side, and the other side is more plain. And that will come in a little bit later when we talk about trying to match up the pattern and everything. So I went out to the car and just took a piece of paper and kind of made a couple templates and everything, and I've already got the pattern transferred and kind of cut out. And again, I'm kind of eyeballing this stuff. It's nothing that is super precise or anything like that. One thing I did want to talk to you guys about and show you were these sometimes they'll call them sewing clips or wonder clips. The company that makes these particular ones are Clover, and it looks like these are made in Japan. I had seen people use these things before, and I thought, well, you know, is it kind of a gimmick? But they're actually quite strong. They're plastic with a little metal spring in it. On the bottom they have marks to where you can line them up if you want to do certain seam allowances and things like that. But like I said, I had never used them before, and I thought, well, you know, how good can they be? It makes a huge difference, especially on something like this. So we can see I've got all the clips here placed on, and once this is sewn, this will be sort of the outside, you'll be able to see, of course it'll look a lot better, but you'll have a nice seam on there, and it really makes it easy. It is super fast. So I think for a box of 50 I paid, and I can't remember how much, I think I paid between maybe $10 and $13 or so, but I think they're worth it. I think I will probably go ahead and get some others. You can also get these in different colors. And you would say, well, why would you care about having them in different colors? And sometimes what you can do, if you're maybe on a certain thing, you want to leave a section undone to where you're going to have to turn something inside out a little bit later, and you may want to say, oh, I'll know to sew through here, and then when I hit the blue, I'll stop, skip it, and then when I come over to the other blue one, then I'll start again and keep sewing. So, all right. Let me get this stuff over on the sewing machine, and then we'll get the camera set up and we'll get you guys a different view. So now we've got our side, and then this is going to be sort of the top and bottom, this thing here. And then what I need to do is I'll go back and do basically the same thing and attach this piece, and that way it'll give me a cover that we can just go ahead and slip on over there. And then on the bottom part here, what I'll do is I'll come back with a little bit of a scrap of fabric and maybe some old shoestrings or something like that, and I'll sew those in so that we can go ahead and tie the thing on. All right, let's go ahead and cut some of these loose threads off. This sewing job I did here is pretty brutal. But we'll flip it around and once we get it turned inside out, we'll see kind of how bad it is. And like I said, I am not too concerned if it's a little wrinkled up or something like that. This is basically just to kind of prevent a rip from getting worse. Like I see, I messed up here, but we'll see how it does. So we sewed it inside out, and you have all of the fabric that has the outside pattern all faces each other. So once you've got it sewed and you turn it inside out, you get a decent seam and you have the pattern. So even where I kind of messed up, it's not too bad, and it should be wide enough to where we can take the messed up part and it'll face there where you won't ever see it. So what we'll do is on the arm of the car is we'll go ahead, get that in, and we'll figure out kind of where we need to, how far back this needs to go. If we look at our pattern, it's about right. So even if my plan is I'm going to turn this inside out, and we'll kind of trim this stuff off here a little bit, and then I'll sew around here all the way around and have we'll have a nice folded edge. So it will basically look something like that when we're done. And then I will put on here, I thought about maybe doing elastic, but then I think maybe just using an old shoestring, or maybe even taking some of this fabric that's left over, folding it on itself a couple of times, and then sewing a quick thing and making my own string, and then we'll just be able to tie it, and that way it'll sit on there. So, but that's it so far. I'll cut you back on when we're doing some of that other stuff. So I'm going to use this strip and fold them up, and that'll make some little ties for me, and that way it'll match the car cover that I have. And what I'm going to want to do is I'll fold it here, give it a little bit of a crease, fold it here, and then I'll fold it again this way. And what that will do, and I'll use my little clips here, and I'll do that all the way around. And the reason that I'm going to do that as opposed to maybe just folding it here and then sewing it down is the material here is going to fray. So on the end, what I'll do is I'll fold it in on itself and sew it across so that none of the material will want to come out. And the other end of this, I won't have to worry about it because it will actually be on the inside in here. And again, I am not worried about this being perfect. So I'll do the other one, and it'll basically just be me sewing a seam down here, sewing a stitch. So I'll cut you back on when I'm getting ready to do that. All right, now that we have the ties sewed on,
we'll go ahead and turn it inside out, and that will allow us to see how it's going to look once it is placed on the armrest in the car. So let's go ahead and head out there and we'll take a look-see and see how it stacks up. So once on, it doesn't look too bad, not bad for a first time trying something like this. It is on there again primarily just to add a little bit of comfort and to hopefully mitigate some of the tearing in the armrest. All right, thanks for coming along with me. I will talk to you guys next time.